Speed, timing, agility, defense. These are the important factors in making a elite fighter, world champion fighter. Top fighters all have this one thing in common. And when you reach the top, it's good to have one of these. Speed, timing, agility, all of these things are what make up a top fighter. The wherewithal, the defense, ring generalship are the things that layer these things. What you saw last night on display with one of the top pound for pound fighters, and in my book is the top pound for pound fighter, doesn't have to prove anything else to me, regardless of the layoffs. A lot of people get caught up in using things like that to kind of back their argument. And these are usually what we call fanboys. Even those that are in the media that do this. They need him to be on the front of every conversation. And the fact that he's not giving them views and getting their following up, they have to kind of depict him, get up under his skin. Well, Andre Ward has proven since the age of 12 years old that he is the one to be dealt with in the sport of boxing. Even at an amateur level, he won a gold medal in the Olympics. We're not talking about golden gloves. We're talking about a gold medal. But we're not here to hang our hats on that. Today, we're going to introduce this conversation of Andre Ward, the new bigger man. Before we start this thing off, my name is Eric Bradley, and I like to introduce myself. And some of you know me as the Real Fight Doctor. And there is no other on this level. Now, the fight last night was just a demonstration of what Andre Ward is built upon. He wanted to make a statement. And what was this statement last night? That he didn't have to use the ring like he usually does. He doesn't have to incorporate movement like he usually does. He showed that his ring IQ was much more than what people realized it would be. He showed you something different. He didn't waste energy. He didn't waste time in the ring. He landed hard shots. He tried to break them down. He got away from a few things that he usually does, like consistently keeping those short punches on him. But for the most part, Andre Ward showed his ring cachet, his defensive prowess, and counterpunch skill set. What did he make a statement though? What was his statement, Fight Doctor, as you asked me, or you're gonna ask me? His statement was, I belong at this weight class. I could have been moved up, but as business, when it comes to business, you have to make decisions that make sense for you and your family. You have to make conscious decisions for those who have invested in you. You cannot make emotional decisions. You can't let ego lead you in this sport. The sport is driven by ego. And those who do not allow it to control them, Floyd Mayweather, even Manny Pacquiao, Klitschko, they didn't let ego control them. They put their egos on their sleeve, and then they made you believe that they allowed their egos to control them, but they were very methodical when it came down to their business decision, and that's what Andre Ward is doing. But as I broke this fight down for you guys, one thing that I wanted to allude you to pay attention to is that when it comes down to the fight game, speed, timing, defense are all front and center. People think it's all about power. People think it's all about pressing. People think it's all about these, what we call ebbs and flows. That's what these things cause. But when it comes down to the sweet science, it's all about understanding timing to defeat speed. It's all about ring generalship and the defensive prowess to overcome power. And these things Andre Ward put on display last night. The much bigger man in BARRERA came in, walked forward, got chewed to pieces, slowly but for surely. Andre Ward was making a statement. When it came down to, not only can I come up here, but I can put hit on you. When he stood in front of this kid and exchanged fisticuffs, he was looking at Kovalev out on the corner of his eye the entire night. He was sending a message directly to Kovalev that I'm going to stand here and I'm going to fight with you this same way, so you will have to deal with all that movement. Or maybe you will. The thing about it is the ring generalship gives you options. For those who don't understand the sport and you're really fans, I like to educate you so you can have this much more incentive on what truly is going on behind the scenes in the training camps in the sport of boxing. That's what I do. With an illustrious career and experience of over 100 years of education with this thing, a lot of people want to know, well, what is truly going on in Kovalev's mind right now? Well, what Kovalev realized last night is Andre Ward isn't just a guy who wants to sit there and fight. I mean, he isn't just a guy who wants to use the ring. Well, what does that mean? He's going to stand there with a guy with power? Yes, he's going to stand there with a guy with power and move in subtle movements. Sleight of feet, sleight of shoulders. If you watch Andre Ward, he knows how to utilize his shoulders, rotations, and counter over the top of whatever you throw. Get inside of your speed, get inside of your power, and understand timing is everything of the essence. When you have a guy like Kovalev who brings that thunder, who brings that power, once you get inside of that power and you start working, and you start using those short, tight punches, that's one thing that Andre Ward did not stick to last night. He wanted to show you guys that he has a big shot. So he threw the left hook with conviction. And he was sending a message directly to Kovalev that when you see Andre Ward, let me put this down and give you a demonstration. When you see Andre Ward in camp and he's throwing his shots, what he's doing is creating a muscle memory. And muscle memory comes into play. If you get stunned and you get rocked in a sport and you can't shake it off, what happens next is what the muscles remember to do. So he throws his punches full extension and with perfect technical prowess, under, over, straight. And if you watch Andre Ward, he does this. Andre Berto alluded to this in one of the conversations that he had in one of his interviews, that Andre Ward is an absolute beast because he knows when he gets stunned, if he gets stunned with one of these top heavyweight, light heavyweight fighters, he's going to be able to use his ring cachet and his offensive abilities to overcome that situation whenever he may be on Quiz Street. And that's a very, very dangerous place to be if you do not have this kind of IQ in the ring. That is something that Andre Ward brings to the front. Boom! These things are ingredients that make a world champion. So the message that he was sending to Kovalev is, when you get in the ring with me, I'm going to show you different looks. I'm going to touch you to the body. I'm going to counter you. So every time you decide to load up with one of those big shots, understand something. You're handing back over the reins to me. So for those who understand and think that Kovalev wins this fight just because he was bigger and just because he's a more powerful puncher, he can box. He has John David Jackson in his corner, and he has a high boxing IQ. He was a great light heavyweight himself, and he's teaching Kovalev things that make world champions for a long time. So it's not like Andre Ward's just going to go in there, but Andre Ward is one thing. He is serious about his skill set. Now I'm going to bring the understanding of what this thing is all about. People saw how the Golden State Warriors have just taken the league by storm. But this is has a lot to do with the rules that the NBA has put in. So they blasted all these teams because of that offense. But then when you look at it, you look at the San Antonio Spurs. They're long. They're defensive minded. And they have a team chemistry that Popovich has designed for well into 2 decades now. He's journeyed through the great likes of the days of David Robinson. He's ventured into the decade of Shaq and Kobe, victorious. And then he ventured into the dominating performances and teams of the Miami Heat with LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. He was victorious. Now he's into a new era with the Steph Currys, and he beat them. And all this says is these guys who understand the science behind the sport. Speed, timing, defense equals boxing. Andre Ward is the face of boxing. Kovalev has some of these components, but when a fighter of Andre Ward's cachet has all of those, it's hard to beat him because he's responsible. And the only one in that ring that can beat Andre Ward is Andre Ward.
Session complete.
They call me the Real Fight Doctor. And I thank you guys for watching. Because right now, you're watching Master Boxing. And this is where we break the fight world down. Round by round. And remember, everyone thought that the Panthers would beat the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl. Always remember this. Defense and speed, 9 times out of 10 will win the game. And Andre Ward has a defensive prowess that will see him through any storm. So long, and shouts out to all of those who are out there in social media following. Who do you have in the Kovalev-Andre Ward fight? What do you think about Andre Ward's performance last night? Continue to hang tight. We'll be breaking down the Manny Pacquiao-Timothy Bradley fight. The 3rd round sequel. So long.